Good evening. Good evening, everyone. And this is just absolutely amazing how I'm always getting stuck right when I get ready to start. I believe it's a tech issue. And Bianca, all I just need you to do is just let me know if I am live. And if I'm live, just hey, hit me a message. I'm good to go. So anyway, good morning, good morning, good evening, everyone. How you doing? My name is Denise Thomas. I am the Diva D from Calm Down Divas. April is not here with me this evening, but what I am going to do this evening is just give a quick recap of what's been going on for our month, what's been going on for this week, and everything else that's going to be happening in our things that I experienced today in our community. Okay, so first of all, we had a fantastic and phenomenal week, or actually a fantastic, phenomenal month for SEC, which is the Sunshine Education Coalition. The entire month, we brought you the 28 days of the Black Youth Experience, and it was awesome. Every Monday, there was a panel discussion. We also had a youth spotlight. We had the SEC SEL video of the week. We had a great conversation with community leaders and just people in general. And we just wanted to bring this information to you. Our website is established, it's sunshineeducationcoalition.org. That's up and running. And we want you to go back and just do a recap and look at everything that we've had out there for the entire month, because it was a lot to put together, but it was just a great month in terms of understanding and putting out there what the pipeline to prison is, a school to prison pipeline, and how it's real and how it affects our Black boys the most. And how, as you can see right now in our communities, we are seeing how other schools, let's take a look at Polk County, are taking crunching the numbers and building jails, prepping themselves by data mining and putting our kids in bad situations. And so that's just horrible. So just go out, visit our site and see what's going on there. That leads us to, let's just give me some community announcements right now, because I will not be on that long because I missed the banter with April. But the next thing that we need to focus on is the fact that on next Monday, we have a non-student day, which is traditionally a Strawberry Festival day. So just be aware of that. That would be March 8th. Also, on March 26th, which is after spring break, that is the end of the third quarter, okay? So March, let me just tell you when spring break is, people. Spring break runs from the 15th of March to the 19th of March. So we will go to school this week and next week. We'll be off that week. And then when we come back, we still have one more week of the quarter, and the quarter ends on March 26th. So just be very cognizant of that. All right. This week we had conference night, and I want to mention something. So here's the conundrum. So we had conference night, and we're saying to parents, well, at first we've been saying to parents they can't come into the building, right? But then we had an actual face-to-face conference night. So what did you think happened to the numbers? Well, a lot of people didn't want to show up because they've already been told that they can't come into the building anyway during the school year. So like my conference night was literally 2 people. It was 2.5 hours for 2 people. So you should have had it all on Zoom. I tried to set it up. Okay, just letting you know, parents, you still can reach out and contact me via Zoom if you were unable to get on campus, or if you were unable to actually come through the building. Okay, all right. That then leads me to listen, student behavior. We're coming down to the end of the third quarter, and some behaviors have not changed. Some behaviors have become exacerbated, and there are a lot of things that's going on in the community. Basically, what you guys say to yourself is whatever happens in the community is exactly what happens inside of the schools. It's like church. Whatever happens out in the community, you're gonna bring them same attitudes, behaviors, everything like that in church. Okay. So just remember, we have to learn to teach our children that to monitor how they conduct themselves outside in the street, and also what they bring into the school. Because I'm telling you, some of the things that are happening out there, some of the bad behaviors, let's just, for lack of a better word, the street, okay, is coming into school, and it's becoming a detriment to everybody else that is here. So we're just hoping and praying that we just do better. And in light of that, this afternoon, the Jackson Heights Civic Association had a forum, or they had a community gathering this afternoon. And within that, you had a lot of the community leaders in there, and they had some great questions that they asked kids. And what I really enjoyed about this particular meeting, granted it was hot because we were outside in them tents. I was on fire. Anyway, uh, but outside of that, I like this conversation that was held because the conversation was geared towards the youth. It's one thing for all of us to get together and talk and talk and talk and talk, and we're a bunch of adults and we sharing our opinions and sharing our thoughts and everything like that. And it was also hosted by the Safe and Sound. But it was another thing to hear from the youth that were out there. So some of the questions, I took some notes here for it. Some of the questions they asked the kids. Well, first of all, first and foremost, in the light of everything that is happening right here in the East Tampa area. Well, one of the questions what they asked is, how do you get the community to trust the police, and how do they get the community to trust each other? That's a big thing, because a lot of times, this snitch culture that the kids have is what prevents us from getting anywhere, because you got people being hurt and killed, and nobody wants to say anything, but it's horrible. Then the other questions they asked about were about the gun, how do you get guns out of the community? And interestingly enough, a lot of the kids were, when we as adults were mentioning to the kids, well, what if they bought the guns back? The kids were like, please, I just take the money and just buy more guns. What was scary to me was that at my table, I had elementary and middle school kids. And what was very, very, terrifying was the fact that the middle schooler was saying that, hey, it's very easy to get guns. It's easy. And it's as an adult, that is such a disheartening statement to hear from a child, that it ain't nothing to get a gun. And then other kids were like, well, part of the problem is they don't lock up the guns, but are the guns even registered? Are they even legal? And even if and then one question that was posed, which was very interesting, well, okay, say that your police were allowed to return the gun. I mean, say you were allowed to give back the guns to your pastor or whoever it is, you give your guns back, and the guns were then turned in. And then they run forensics on them, and the gun got 5 bodies on it. Two people have been murdered with this same gun. Now, you've done it anonymously. Is it coming back to you? Well, it's a crime. So you have to look at it from one perspective. Yes, you turn in the gun in anonymously, but from the other perspective, an actual crime has taken place using this particular weapon. Hey, somebody got to get charged. So it's those moral debate issues that are out there that people just need to look into. One of the other questions they asked that the kids were, why do you feel that there's so many shootings? And some kids were just like, people broke, people need money, people, they rob each other, they just jealous of what somebody else has. And one of the things that stood out the most was when they were asking the kids, why is all this happening? It's because the kids say they have no hope. The kids say they have no hope. The kids say they want jobs. And then the one kid said, I just want a damn job. He said, just like that, I want a damn job. Can I get a job? And not just a job, but they want a career. Can I get something to where it's not a job at McDonald's, it's not a job at Pizza Hut or whatever place it is, something to where I can say I got a house and I can live in that same house for 20 years. You don't hear the kids talk about stuff like that. And that's it's like we as adults forget that we sort of, quote unquote, made it. We have our hopes and our dreams and they're fulfilled. But these kids also want to have their hopes and dreams fulfilled. Not everybody's going to do it through college. Not everybody's going to do it through, through whatever other means, military. Some kids just want to trade. That's why when Myers was talking about the apprenticeship program, it was great because those kids need those opportunities. But the problem is also that you got, when the city has all these contracts and things like that, you got, what was the statistics? 1% of Black businesses get the contracts. 1%. I mean, so you see why the kids have no hope. But then here is another interesting point that was made. An interesting point that was made was when back in like 2011, 2012, when all the drops were taking place and when all the, people were getting all that money, all that fraudulent money, crime was lower. Makes sense, right? Crime had to be lower because guess what? Everybody got dough. Everybody got dough. Everybody's pockets was fat. You ain't gonna commit no crime if everybody got paid. Everybody got paid, and you saw all those cotton candy, color cars going all up and down the street. Every Sunday was a car show. But that's because everybody had cash. Y'all, granted, the cash was illegal. Now imagine what happened if you could just flood your community. Everybody in your community have jobs, Everybody in your community has a way to make money. Everybody in your community has hope. Crime would go down. Why everybody, when you go to a rich, affluent community, there's no crime over there? Because everybody working. Everybody got money. Everybody can feed their families. So the conversation basically was really very good, but the issue was just getting them off the street. I mean, it's just going to take a lot of work, and then it's going to take a lot of building relationships with the police. Because one of the questions we had, we were talking to the police officers at our table, and we were saying, look, why can't we see y'all outside of in a authoritative capacity? You know, a lot of the kids, I must admit, say they didn't really fear the police. They just never saw them outside of that. They only see them as one particular thing. You know, it's like it's not like teachers. You know, you can go to the grocery store and see a teacher. You can go to the movies and see a teacher. You can go, but they only see them in one particular aspect. And it's better to build a relationship with them if they are actually, you know, bonding in the community, spending more time in the community. These events are great to have. However, if the events are not more happening more frequently, it's one thing to have an event. One of the kids at our table was talking about an event they had. A police officer was there a year ago, and then remember, now that was 2 years because COVID has kept the kids out of school. So now, if it can be done monthly, if something can be done bi-weekly, I mean, just even a pickup game, they just got to see them outside of the element that they always see them in, so that they can reduce the amount of fear that they have, and then build up those quality relationships. So those, I mean, this was just, you know, those are just some things that we talked about. And I really thought it was great conversation. I just thought it was just awesome. I just thought it was an awesome thing to have. And just keeping that relationship close is just wonderful. So, but anyway, that's enough of me chattering and running my mouth. I feel like I'm frozen, but then again, my laptop says that I'm not. I only wanted to chime in for a little bit with you guys because I just want to give you a little bit of announcements. Like I said, April is not with me right now, but it's fine. I wanted to just pop in, share with you. I want you to go back for the week and just check out everything that we have been doing with the Sunshine Education Coalition. Check out our live our feeds for our various platform discussions that we had every Monday, and check out all the other videos that we had right there. And please, please, please check back with us, as we are always having something new and exciting coming up. And we're also looking forward to going to our school board meetings. All right, guys, that's all I got for this evening. And I will check in with you next week. April and I will. And Bianca, we headed out. Bye.